Hello guys, welcome back. So now we are continuing on the chapter 2. So chapter 2 is about CSS styling. Here we'll discuss how to add global styles, uh, and different ways of adding styling using Tailwind and CSS modules. We'll learn about Tailwind, what is Tailwind, and how to conditionally add classes names with CLS. Okay, there is a utility package that we are going to use to add classes dynamically. So let's start with the first part, global CSS. So it says ki if you look inside the UI folder, you will see a global CSS file. So inside this, we see a global. Yeah, here it is. So it says you can use this to add styles to all your routes. So here you can add global styles. We add we have add for like three input types of type number. Okay, not three, single input type it is. It is just key on different uh, inner spin button. Okay. Yeah, on different actions it will add different classes or styles. And now we have in your application such as CSS reset rules, site-wide styles. That's all done. You can import global CSS in any component in your application, but it's actually good practice to add it to your top level. Makes sense because since we are using global CSS to add styles uh, to all the components. So it makes sense to add it at the very initial level only, because if we add it some component, then this will only be loaded once that particular component gets loaded. We do not want that to be happening with our global styles. So we'll load it in our main application, which is this. Are we loading it here? You see, I don't. Maybe here. Nope. Okay, yeah, here we added it. Yes. So we did only the import. We are not mentioning key how we are going to append it to the HTML. I think that part is being handled by the next JS. So the import is all that you need to do. Now let's see what it is saying. It's saying okay, yeah, here it is also mentioned ki add this line in your file. Now run the development server and it will start looking like this. Now, wait a second. You didn't add any CSS rules. Okay. Didn't, didn't we? If you take a look inside Global A, you'll notice Tailwind directives. Do we? Global CSS. Okay. Yes, there are three directives that we have added. Why? So, what is Tailwind? Tailwind is a CSS framework. Okay. Uh, okay. It is, I think, like Bootstrap, where they have some inbuilt classes for different purpose. You only have to add those classes, but here it uses the directive approach. So rather than adding classes, you add those directives. Makes sense. Even you add them as a class inside your HTML elements by using class name rather than class. Uh, See, this is something to notice here. We are not using class directive here or class attribute here. We are using class name attribute. So class is native to HTML. This must be native. Well, this must be from the React. That is why it has a different name. Although the CSS styles are shared globally, each class is singularly applied to each element. Okay. Delete an element, you don't have to worry about maintaining separate style sheet. Okay. Style collision. Okay. That. So it says few things about ki, even if you add styles using the global CSS, these styles get applied to your component separately. That means a change in one component like won't affect any other part of your application. So if you change styling on one, there is no difference on other components, which makes sense. So I think that is a common thing for any styles that you have in any framework. Yes, of course. When you create app to start a new project, we'll ask you if you want Tailwind as the framework to add CSS. Okay, we have an option to use Tailwind or not when we create a new app. So here I think since we are using, then we must have selected yes. If you look at the root file, which is page.tsx, you see Tailwind classes in the example. Let's see root app, root HTML, class name. We have added it everywhere. Okay. Yep, we are doing it. Don't worry if your first time Tailwind. Tailwind doesn't look that difficult. It's just we anyways have to check for all these available classes and how they add styles. What difference do these classes uh, create on your component or on your element? That we have to check separately. So for now, it is enough that we know there is some syntax like this. It's time for a quiz. Pass the quiz. Now the second part, which is okay. Let's go to the very top. What they said, they will teach us three things in this chapter: Tailwind and CSS modules. So first part is done, and the second part, Tailwind, we have discussed. Now comes the CSS modules. So let's check it. Huh. Component by automatically creating unique class names, so you don't have to worry about style collision. Okay, style collision, you guys understand? It is like if like I have two classes with the same name declared in my React project, then these two classes should not override style of each other, or yes, do not conflict with other components where they are not intentionally added. So how it is done is they like when the compiler compiles it, they must prefix or postfix it using some component name, basically taking out some string part from the component name because component names are unique, I guess, in React. So that is how they can manage it. Although there are other approaches as well, like Shadow DOM and what else? Ah, I think these two only for now. So CSS modules, let's check. We'll continue using Tailwind in this course, but let's take a moment to achieve same result using the okay. Now we'll try to do the same thing using this module, form module that we saw in first video. So here we are saying that we are declaring a class name shape that has these styles applied. Okay, do we? This is it. Solid black border bottom border left, adding three borders of three different width. Now in page use while import the styles and replace the tailwind class names from the div. You have added the styles dot shape. Okay, alright. So what we are doing here is we have this page which I told you contains the bootstrap HTML. So here it is suggesting is right now we are using these tailwind classes, but we can remove these classes or remove these classes for at least this component. Let's do that. Remove and apply the styles that we created in our home module. So we have imported it using styles alias. So style alias, we importing shape. Okay, I have added it here, but I could add it here also. I guess maybe I have added it at the wrong place. But let's add it here as well. Huh. So it says the styles got imported. I think this is something. This is wrong. Maybe I have made mistakes somewhere. So let's see what this does. I have saved this project. Now I'll check the server and see do I notice any change. So far, forget is still loading. Yes, I do see a triangle up top. Oh, Preview them, you will see the same shape as before. The two most common ways. Got it. Got your point. Now we come to the third thing, which is CLSX library. Let's see what this library offers. You need to add conditional styles elements. Okay. Let's see, toggle class name easily. We recommend taking a look at documentation. But here's the basic usage. Okay, we'll take that look later. Let's see what is the basic usage. Suppose you want to create an invoice status component. We have invoice status component. Oh, we have invoice. Okay, maybe this one is the invoice status. Yes. Huh. The status can be pending or paid. If it is paid, you want to show in green. Otherwise, you want to show in gray. Then, for doing that, oh, now we have this thing. Keep based on our text field or based on our status field, we have to add two types of. We have to decide which type of color we want to add, green or gray. Let's see how we do that. So, syntax looks same. It's just this let's understand this curly brace. This is interpolation syntax, I guess. So to tell the compiler or router that anything that is inside curly braces should not be handled by HTML compiler but should be handled by React. We add that inside the curly braces. So what we are doing here is we are adding these styles pending and paid, right? Okay. If that is done, what can we see these components? Do we see these components anywhere this app? Not now. Maybe in later chapters. We'll see. Or the saying we have to run the app. No. They only describe. So here they only described it, although they are saying SAS, which allows you to import. We can have these files, these type of files also to declare our CSS. So that is fine. Let's move on to the next chapter.